Grief saved me.
Casualty of war. If he hadn't interfered, he might still be alive.
I've spent my whole life putting bad guys behind bars.
Everyone thought they knew why Pauley Perrette retired from acting. The official story was simple. She wanted a quieter life. But the leaked documents tell a different story. There were assault allegations, safety violations, and a co-star she was so afraid of that she needed therapy just to cope. CBS thought their settlement would end it all. They were wrong. Now, at age 56, Pauley is finally set to reveal the truth about what actually went down in those last years on the set. Pauley Perrette was born on the 27th of March, 1969, in New Orleans, but her childhood life was anything but grounded. Her father worked in the railroad sector, so the family moved from state to state all the time. By the time she was a teenager, she already had lived in 14 different locations. She never lingered long enough to ever feel like she was home, but all this moving around did teach her how to adapt quickly, how to fit in, and how to quickly read people. Although she was born in Louisiana, she always claimed Alabama was home. Growing up all over the South, she became extremely resilient, something that later helped her survive the capricious world of Hollywood. Before anyone recognized her as Abby, Pauley had already set her sights on crime fighting. As a kid, she did not simply read fairy tales or watch cartoons. She was fascinated by real-life accounts of criminals and the science that caught them. While other children were dreaming of being athletes or astronauts, she spoke of being in a rock band, working with animals, or being an FBI agent. And she did not just say it. She pursued criminal justice in high school and earned baccalaureate degrees in sociology, psychology, and criminology. She did not rest there. She relocated to New York and started pursuing a master's degree at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. What motivated her was not success or fame. She was just curious as to why individuals hurt other people without guilt. It was a question she carried with her for years. Throughout her studying and attempting to get by, something occurred that altered her for life. While in Atlanta during the 1980s, she was brutally mugged. Few details exist, but the effect was profound. It was not only a scary moment, it became a turning point. Rather than shoving the trauma aside, she used it as fuel. It provided her with an even greater reason to continue researching crime and assisting others. From that day forward, she began to speak up for victims. She used her voice and her increasing platform to stand up for people who had been victimized, always keeping in mind how it used to feel to be among them. Her college life was nothing like most people's. Holly had buckled down in school, but outside of it, she had worked harder just to make it. In Georgia, she studied criminal justice and maintained good grades. When she moved to New York, it was not the same. She bartended in back clubs, sporting a mohawk and combat boots, fitting right into the city's offbeat nightlife. She also handed out flyers on roller skates and even cooked on dinner cruise boats to fund school. It wasn't glamorous, but later she said it all gave her an edge. She wasn't learning about human behavior in textbooks. She was living it daily. That combination of scholarly study and hard-world experience proved to be the ideal actor's training, despite the fact she had not intended it. She acquired her first tattoo at the age of 15. Within the extremely conservative Southern society in which she was reared, that was scandalous. She had been raised by a strict church in which films and television were hardly permitted. She was the quintessential Southern girl as a child. Pigtails and blonde hair, respectful and well-mannered. But on the inside, she was different. The tattoos were a means of informing the world that she was not going to abide by rules other people had created for her. She got about 20 tattoos over the years, each one speaking to a part of herself. She redirected her body into a canvas that went against every standard she was brought up on. By the time she actually arrived in Hollywood in the 1990s, she had only $71 to her name. She just left New York, where she was working as a bartender in the club scene and doing whatever she could to survive. In Los Angeles, it didn't improve any. She crashed on friends' floors and worked whatever job she could scrounge up. She even did some voiceover work for a Dylan song service in order to pay rent. Acting wasn't something she had dreamt about her whole life. It was something that she fell into trying to make ends meet. And she gravitated towards it only because her backup plan of getting into criminology didn't cut the check. At one of her lowest points, she walked dogs on Sunset Boulevard for a mere $5 a day. It didn't pay much, but it paid off in a big way. One of the dogs, a pit bull that she picked up on the street and rescued, became Cece, her cherished companion. That dog was not merely a pet. It was a part of her tale. Years down the line, when she had a fight with a co-star over his vicious dog, the relevance to Cece added depth to that moment. Her passion for animals started on those strolls and only stayed with her. She has backed numerous animal shelters ever since. Her big break on television was not through auditions or agents, but while listening to a person in a coffee shop. She was standing in the vicinity when she overheard a casting call for the Drew Carey show. This one encounter resulted in her getting cast as an extra named Darcy, which she appeared in 4 episodes during 2 years. From then on, she gradually started developing her resume. She got small roles on series such as Frasier and Murder One, and one by one, they brought her closer to her eventual breakthrough. That overheard conversation was the clincher. In 2000, she guest starred in the film Almost Famous as a radio DJ named Alice Wisdom. It was not a big role, but it provided her with the opportunity to act with actors such as Philip Seymour Hoffman and director Cameron Crowe. A couple of years prior, she had been in a small drama named The Price of Kissing. These were not box office smashes, but they did help her develop as an actor. Although Almost Famous did not perform well at the box office, it gained cult status. Her appearance in those movies demonstrated that she had talent and range before NCIS made her a household name. Pauley Perrette entered the audition room in 2003, wearing baggy Levi's sneakers and a plain white t-shirt. She was a natural blonde, far from the gothic character she would become known for. But as soon as she walked in, Don Bellisario apparently said, "That's her." Her friend Kevin Lawson assured that Perrette did not even have to try. Her caffeinated energy, fast-talking, warmth, and huggability were sufficient. Abish was not something she acted. It was part of who she was. Her caffeinated energy, fast-talking warmth, and huggability were not scripted. It was simply Pauley being Pauley, and that moment changed everything. Abby didn't just join the team. She became the team's heart. Although there's no official CBS data comparing her popularity to other characters, fans made it clear. Viewers loved Abby. She became a fan favorite, and her role quickly grew beyond expectations. Writers noticed the connection and kept expanding her screen time. By the time she left in 2018, she had appeared in every episode since the show's beginning. No one else on the cast had that kind of run. On set, one small stuffed toy caused more chaos than any actor ever could. It was Bert the farting hippo, a purple stuffed animal that made fart sounds when squeezed. What started as a background prop turned into a set legend. Cast and crew struggled to maintain it. Producers ultimately had to put it away to prevent people from stealing it home. Bert appeared in episode after episode, providing comic relief in the most bleak of scenes. It wasn't merchandise that made Abby legendary. It was odd details like this that became indelible. Off camera, Perrette took Abby's role as a forensic scientist seriously. By the time the 3rd episode, Sea Dog, hit the airwaves in October of 2003, it was evident that Abby was a smart cookie. But it wasn't by happenstance. Perrette consulted with actual forensic professionals and educated herself on the science as well. She learned about DNA analysis, ballistics, and procedure in the lab, all so that the character would feel authentic. She didn't memorize lines. She got them. That made Abby more than just a television character. She was the kind of person who could walk into an actual NCIS lab and hit the ground running. Pauley Perrette's passion wasn't just in the character. She committed to a cause. One of them was assisting veterans. She volunteered with American Humane's Pups for Patriots program, which matches service dogs with veterans with PTSD and traumatic brain injuries. The dogs can cost $30,000 each to train. But Perrette was a believer in the cause and did what she could to assist. The program has matched over 160 veterans with trained dogs, providing them with not only assistance, but also with dignity. It reflected Abby's deep respect on the show for service personnel. Popularity for the show skyrocketed after the season's 7th finale. That single episode drew more than 20 million viewers in the United States. It was a watershed moment for NCIS. The crime drama even topped American Idol's ratings in that year. The show grew 25% in the 18 to 49 demographic from last year. It grew from 14.9 million to 17.6 million total viewers year over year. It wasn't just another season finale. It was when NCIS reached the top as the #1 scripted drama in America and remained there. Perhaps the strange